Whatever details are around, I guess in December, BDCP plan and EIR now is coming out in December. There was a federal delay of a couple of weeks announced, I think, this morning or yesterday because of the federal shutdown. Right. But we'll know more then. However, we do have the documents in front of you. I printed out a copy of Chapter 8, which is from the plan, which is the implementation cost and funding source. That dollar figure is there. I think it's fair to say that they assume, this is my understanding of the plan, they assume that wherever we find our money, $1.8 million per year of the science program activity probably is credited to BDCP. I did not read this as a promise that BDCP would pay that amount.
Right.
What does credited mean?
This is in the nature of a reliable funding, in pursuit of the reliable funding source, I believe.
Does that mean BDCP funds come to the council, or the council gets money from a different source and its science projects
Mr.
have
Zippen,
relevancy?
We're getting way into where we were going to go with the briefing, but I'll let Dr.
Okay.
Zippen
Well, I can wait.
take.
I can wait. So we can come back to it. It's all right.
I understand the question and the importance of answering the question. I'd just like to say thank you for having us again in front of you, Mr. Chairman, members of the council. We are on the verge of publishing the public draft plan and EIR, EIS. We've had several administrative drafts. There's been a lot of discussion over the last 7 years, including since the publication of the last administrative draft last spring. We would like to focus today primarily on the funding. I think we'll probably want to schedule a follow-up on the assurances issue. I imagine you're going to have a lot of questions about the funding that will take some time today. But I think most of the numbers that we're presenting today from Chapter 8, there's not a lot of change from the administrative draft. With regard to the assurances issues, there are a number of changes, and so we don't want to get ahead of the public draft in terms of getting into the details of that. So I'd like to introduce Dr. David Zippen. He is the chief author of Chapter 8, which gets into the funding, sources of funding, and the costs of the plan. David is the program manager for the entire BDCP for ICF, which is the primary consulting firm that's been involved for the last 2 years in completing the plan and the EIR, EIS, and is been involved and is really a leader in the conservation planning community, has been involved in the development of many of these plans at both the state and federal level in California and elsewhere. So David's got a presentation. You have a hard copy of it, and he'll walk you through it. And without any further introduction, I'll turn it over to David, if that's all right.